Yup, this is me ringing in 2020 with my friends and a room full of complete strangers. This was life before the pandemic, but I'm getting ahead of myself. I kicked off the year by going to one of my favorite cities in the world, Seville. I also spent 2 days in Madrid and it was amazing and I wish I could have stayed longer. One of the highlights of the year was eating at the oldest restaurant in the world. The food was absolutely delicious, 10 out of 10, highly recommend. And then it was back to the cold winters of Canada. I think this was the first year that I actually embraced snow and I didn't just avoid it at all costs. To my surprise, I actually didn't hate it as much as I thought I would. I even took that ski trip I always talk about, knowing fully well that I have no idea how to ski. And I was even on TV. And of course, my favorite event of the season, the Toronto Vintage Clothing Show. I love vintage shopping, so for me, being in a crowded room filled with vintage clothes is just a dream come true. But little did we know, this was about to happen.
Today, I'm ordering the mandatory closure of all non-essential workplaces in the province of Ontario. This order will be effective Tuesday, March 24th at 11:59 p.m. We must take all steps necessary to slow the spread of COVID-19.
It was a gloomy time with everything closed and barely even able to go outside, but I tried to make the most of it. We made bread, I watched as many sunsets as I could from my window, and I also filmed so many different videos for you guys. I filmed weekly vlogs, which honestly kept me sane throughout the entire spring. Going on long walks outside and baking became daily rituals. The arrival of spring brought looser restrictions, and honestly, this was great news. Sometime in early May, stores were finally allowed to open, wearing a mask, of course. I spent my birthday on a partial lockdown. The stores were open, but unfortunately restaurants were closed. I had an amazing meal at home and my friends and family made it extra special. I got roller skates for my birthday and I clearly still need more practice. And I did a little bit of vintage shopping, of course. Okay, maybe more than just a little. Going on sunset bike rides was definitely the best part of summer. Something about the pink sky, wind going through your hair, it feels right. This point in the year is where I started experimenting a little bit more with vintage hair. In August, I got my haircut, I could see some friends, and finally I could dine in a patio, which felt incredible, and life was starting to feel a little bit more normal at this point. With the arrival of fall, the numbers slowly started to go up again. Unfortunately, due to the rising cases, we spent Thanksgiving with no extended family, just my parents, my sister, and I. In November, the numbers were definitely higher, which indicated a second wave, and there were rumors of a second lockdown happening. December 1st brought so much snow, and just like earlier this year, I tried to embrace it and enjoy it as much as I could. I shot my Christmas lookbook in more isolated areas to avoid being around people, but honestly, the streets were pretty empty as it is. Since all Christmas events were pretty much canceled, my mom and I drove down to Niagara-on-the-Lake to look at the Christmas decorations. Due to low capacities, we managed to get a private tour of Dundurn Castle, which was amazing.
The province of Ontario is heading into another lockdown. Ontario Premier Doug Ford made the announcement earlier this afternoon.
It means a closure of non-essential businesses. Grocery stores, pharmacies can stay open.
Unfortunately, it looks like we were going to spend Christmas in a lockdown. My friend Adrian and I did our gift exchange outside, which felt a little weird, but I mean, what else are you going to do? Christmas turned into Zoom calls and dressing up simply just to stay at home. Christmas was definitely different this year, but it was still peaceful and lovely. And that brings us to the very last day of the year, New Year's Eve, which I spent at home with my parents and my sister still under lockdown, so I don't know, we'll see what 2021 brings.